Hello there, YouTube faithful. It is that time again to talk Motu with Collector. And I have a good bit of things to cover. First of all, I'm going to cover this shirt. I'm going to do some painting. So you always wear a shirt you don't care about getting paint on. And I don't care about this one anymore because it looks really old, doesn't it? You can tell if you look hard that there is the Motu image there of He-Man on Battle Cat. Yeah. I got this shirt at Black Dragon Comics. I wore it maybe 3 times. I washed it 3 times. First time, fine. Second time, fine. Third time, well, you can tell. All the color. I might have worn this shirt maybe 5 times. I don't know. Very few times. One hand I can count how many times I've worn this shirt. You go back and look at previous videos. You might not see it very often because I kept it on a hanger. But 3, 4, 5 washes, just a handful of washes, and then one day the color just completely out of the shirt. So that's the bad stuff. The good stuff is I got 2 things to open, something else to show you, and then I'm going to get started on some work, and I'll show you progress at the end of this video. I will, So, I was in the Masters Universe Customs group, just showing, going in there to, show off the little crappy customs that I do. And I saw this guy in there talking about Panthorman, and how the helmet they missed the boat by not putting ram horns on the helmet. And I thought, that is a neat idea. And then he's like, "What? How would one go about that?" My friend Kelly. And I'm like, you could maybe cut some horns off of the Havoc staff, right? Glue them on there if you're good at cutting. However, they look rather donut-like, right? They look like a Danish. So it's not going to look great. It's going to look like Mickey Mouse ears. So then my next thought was, we could find ram horns on little models of rams, or from armor, excuse me, from armor for miniatures, of the same scale, 1/6 or 1/12, 1/12, 1/12 actually. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then it occurs to me that if I just do a search for those things, see what pops up. I did, and one of the first things, I was looking for 3D printed armor, right? But the very first result I got was from, I forgot his name, but I'm going to make it pop up here. This guy. This fella. The best eBay seller I've come across. Ever. The best. Because he has this product right here, which popped up, which is an awesome looking Panthorman head, or it's actually a Battle Cat man head, but it's unpainted, so it could be either one. But it's an awesome Catman head with the ram horns already on the helmet, which is, you can't remove the helmet. So that's, but it's its own head. And the jaw opens up. And so I show this to Kelly, And the next message I get back is, and we just met. We've been talking maybe for an hour about Motu in our childhoods, Gen Xers. And he's like, "What's your address?" And I'm like, "I don't tell strangers my address." And he's like, "No, I'm, I'm gonna send you 3 heads because I want one for me and one for someone I care about, and then you can have the other one if you just paint all 3 of them." And I'm like, "You know what? I paint things. I'm not a pro, but I paint things, so I'll do it for you." And so I went ahead and ordered a Panthorman. And I'm not really huge on the crossovers, like the Transformers crossovers, the Turtles crossovers, but the Thundercats crossovers, I'm fine with it. Somehow my mind accepts it easier. So I already got the colors set aside that I'm going to use to pull this job off. I actually need to create this iridescent, pearlescent green. But let's go ahead and open this up. And is that any better? I can't tell. There is light hitting it, so this pearlescent green, right? I'm gonna have to create that. And I've got some pearlescent green paints, but they're gonna have to be a top coat, right? These are not model paints. These will need to be thinned. But one is more of an emerald and one is more of a dragon. So I'm going to try to see what those look like on something that is that green. I think this Warhammer green here is the right type of green. Mixing them together with a little paint thinner, what could go wrong? Tell the truth though, the what's this, apple barrel paint does not like to mix with war painters, army painters, war paints. Does not like to mix with Games Workshop war paints. It becomes a lumpy. You got to do it in very small amounts because it will just turn into a lumpy sour milk. However, this stuff, it's way less. So when you mix war paints with this, way less. However, I might escape that if I just paint it with this and let it dry. This is this speed paint? I can't tell. But let this dry and then this on top. So I won't have to worry about them interacting with each other. But if you're going to mix them together for any kind of reason, it's going to be a lumpy mess. So, okay, back to my story. I go on to the details on the image for the seller after I gave Kelly my address. And this eBay seller has all these details about things you might have to do if you're a customizer. He's like, you might have to Dremel, you might have to sand to make these things fit. And I'm like, thank you. I was so grateful that he told that, because a lot of eBay sellers won't warn you about anything. And they also won't give you refunds either. I bought a cat house that happened to. Not a cat house where you people go, but where cats go. And if somebody is beside you going, why would people go to a cat house? Tell them. He has these great details. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciate your level of detail. My friend just bought 3 of your heads. It popped up as first search result, told him the whole story. And they're on the way to me right now. And I'm going to put them on a Panthorman. And he's like, well, I had to use weird language in the ad for those heads. They don't specifically say exactly who they go to. They just say Green Tiger Man, right? To not infringe on copyright. So I assume since it went on a Green Tiger Man, it would also go on a Purple Panther Man. I tell him this story, and he writes me back saying, oh, well, that's a Masterverse head, the one with the jaw that opens. I'm going to go ahead and send your friend Origins heads. The only difference is their jaws don't open. And I was like, you know what? That's cool. And it's cool that you came back with this information, with this answer. You saw us about to make a mistake. It might, they might fit, but you know, I might not have. I'm pretty sure I don't really have an easily accessible Dremel tool. I have drills and sandpaper, but no Dremel tool. But so he saved us maybe a headache, right, or making a mistake, and he refunded the difference back to Kelly. And so he's an awesome guy. Kelly's an awesome guy. He might not want me to share this, but he has a medical condition that prevents him from being able to paint little things, right? Um, so my hands are not nearly as shaky, I would imagine. They shake somewhat, um, but I think I do all right. You know, I do all right. I might make a C level, C level, B level uh, customs. So a little more back and forth with that guy. I was just so impressed with the fact that he tried to save us all this trouble that he thought we might have to go get into to, you know, because a Masterverse head 9 times out of 10 is going to fit on a Origins body. However, not all Origins heads fit on Origins bodies. Um, Not all of them. I would say like 98% of Origins heads are interchangeable, but there's that last 2%, which the head, while it might be stickable onto the body, it won't stay on the body. It's either too loose or it's way too tight, and when you crunch it on there, you've broken the neck somehow. Um, so there's a little margin of error. But let's look at these heads, okay? These heads, I'm just going to take the one out of the big bag. They're all the same. These heads smell like burnt wood. They're 3D printed, but they are heavy duty, very detailed. I can see they have some is it anisotropy or isotropy going on with the texture. Let me turn this extra light back on over here, my fist light. Let's put it that way, and let's turn this way. So there we go. Look at that detail. For a second there, it looked like a rabbit. It totally looked like a rabbit. Okay, it's the fur on his bottom lip. It looks like buck teeth. If you just look at it quickly, you're like, it's a rabbit. But it's not a rabbit. It is a cat man. And I don't know why you would use this on a battle cat man. I guess you could sand the horns off, because the ram horns totally belong on Skeletor's steed. Come on, steed and friend. And I can look up inside there. I can see that the head hole is rather large. I don't know if you can see that. The head hole. How do I coordinate that? The head hole is rather large. So I'm going to guess that that's going to stick. That's going to, like, let's try it with just a random head. Now there's a reason why I ordered this Panthorman so that I would have the exact body, given that setup I just told you. I didn't want, see, because look at the hole on this one, smaller, much smaller. So see the what do you call that? The ball. This is going to wobble around on there. Yeah, this just wobbles around on there. So I'm going to have to think of something to make this. I mean, it's like, it doesn't really wobble. Well, it wobbles a little bit. The ball is secured into the socket, but you still got this little bit of back and forth motion. You could totally just set him there, but you're gonna have to put some kind of putty. That's what I was looking for. Sculpey putty, might even some of the weak joint strengthening pin. Basically, this is a glue pen that you have to torture to get a lot of glue out of. It's going to be the smallest amount of glue. Let's look at this Panthorman. It's time to wreck this really cool, kind of damaged card. I mean, I bought this with the intention of opening it. So, you can see some Thundercats figures on the back there. Panthro kind of looking like coming through like Batman. So let's open this up. And I'm starting to do resin castings. So save these for Motu purposes. So I'm gonna save that. Something interesting's coming. All right, this does not have a comic. It has a card, which kind of makes me think of Garbage Pail Kids. But it is a very heavy-duty card. It is just as heavy as the card of the package, if not a teeny bit more. But you get this relief almost. No relief. You get this nice shiny specular card of Panthorman. Pretty cool. Tells you a little bit on the back. So let's put that over here. We have a snipping tool. We have gotten our snipping tool. Let's go ahead and take out what we can. Okay. So his claws. And there's something I want to point out about this Panthorman I noticed before I even got him out of the box. I'll show you once I can manipulate him to where I can show you. But it's concerning his knees, right? Anybody remembers the first wave of the girls that they put out, Tila and Evelyn, they had crappy knees that were kind of shovel shaped and less knee shaped. I'll show you what I mean. All right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, look at the knees. They have these sharp kneecaps. What's up with that? And his elbows have kind of ridges too. See, now, what's a good comparison? Let's use Voltac, because his body's almost the same. In fact, take his wings off. So, back of Voltac's arms, no serious ridge. Voltac's knees, which these legs look almost the same. They're cartoon collection legs, but look at Voltac's knees. Rounded. So, I don't understand, man. I don't understand, man. However, I've just noticed something, and I must try it out. So, let's take this. See, he's got these things on his back, which a lot of characters do. But really, I'm just placing... Great, there's a cat outside. Yelling at another cat outside. Okay. Yeah, look here what we got now. What does that make him? A griffin? He's a griffin. Ooh, the griffin. Yeah. I mean, because his wings are going to be the color of his snoot. Almost exactly the same color. Exactly the same color. Check it out. And if he had a place for a tail, That'd be cool too. We could put a tail on it. But yeah, I like this. I really like this. I don't know if I'm gonna keep him as Pantherman. I mean, I guess I might. Okay, so we've got Voltex feathers. He's got the 2 hexagonal holes. So if you have a figure like Sunman, I want to say, yeah, no, not Sunman. That's a Masterverse. But the Sorceress, or anybody that has something that goes in those 2 holes, like this shield. The shield is I made for Ice Guy, but it'll go like that. Oops. This Mr. T shield that I made. Don't laugh. That's terrible. I'm not selling that. I just made it for fun, for funsies. Funsies. Goes on just like that. So yeah. He has a nice weight. He has nice feet. Check it out. He got those human feet. I like that. Will I take a knife to this? You can bet I will. Just needs to be ever so slightly shortened. That's all. They're just too long. Got some long knees. Long knees. I like the ankle, the wrappings. I like his armor that's removable. Is this helmet come off? Do it. Yeah, do. And there's our Pantherman. So let's hold head next to head. I have to tell you this. He's got 3 rows of hair. Obvious. It looks like a Muppet. This one's hair looks like that. I mean, yeah, it's mirrored. You can tell it's mirrored, which is something you do when you're making things in 3D. You don't really have to make the whole thing. You just make half of it, and then you copy that half and mirror it. And sometimes you might have to flip its normals inside out. And a normal is simply a line coming out of the center of a polygon. It's an imaginary line. Well, everything in the whole program is imaginary, but like, it's a line you can only see if you tell the computer to show you face normals. The normals of the faces. Not faces like your face, but any polygon is also called a face. So anyway, little lesson for you. Let's look at his break apart sheet. His dummy sheet. Apparently, he does not come apart. Switch out parts to transform. And it just has the armor as things. You can see that's the only thing that's dark. But you can see there are divisions. And I'm sure he comes apart. Let's try it. Let's take an arm off. I could be wrong. Yeah, his arms come off, so he's got that body. You know, that Motu body. Modular, switchable, Eli Whitney body. And I do like his harness. You could, of course, take this harness and make another character if you like. The whole body, in fact, is good for that. He doesn't have any kind of hair drawn onto his body. He's got this extra long loincloth belty thing. I think this comes off, actually. You can take that off, and it's just a Motu set of underwear underneath there. Head's cool. Let's see what happens. Moment of truth. Let's put one of these heads on him. And I don't think it's gonna... Yeah. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to put some wadding in there. Something that when I stick it on there, it'll stay put. Piece of chewing gum. But you don't want chewing gum because, I mean, spit It smells over time. You don't want a spitty object. But, maybe something that's sticky like chewing gum. Because, that snap is very satisfying when the heads go on. But a lot of times when you're customizing, you're not going to get that. You're just going to be lucky if the head goes on, period. And you have to work out how to make that head stay put so that you can be positioned. If you have a suggestion, go ahead and throw that at me at this email address. And in the subject line, write your head problem. Because you can use that email address as well to enter my giveaway. And I'm going to try to do these periodically. Especially at like Christmas and stuff. But like on the first day of spring, that's when it is. I think it's March 20th. I'm going to go on at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube Live to read the two best, or I don't like using best. I like using the term most impressive emails that I get in regards to the free Motu giveaway. Now, you're not limited in any way in what you write about as long as Motu is the theme. So it could be a story about how you met a voice actor. It could be a funny incident story like I just told you about meeting the guy in the forum and now I have a Panthorman and 3 heads to paint. It could be anything as long as it's He-Man adjacent, You designed a custom you want to talk about. Something happened in an episode you noticed. An opinion you have. A lot of people are kind of worried that they're just going to quit making Masterverse. They've officially said it's on pause for the movie year. So that means all of this year. I've seen I've seen that it's going to be on Mattel Creations only and no longer sold in stores when it does return. Either, I don't care as long as there's a way to get some Masterverse, because I'm still digging the Masterverse, and I would like to see some things in Masterverse. It was like a poor man's classics, but a teeny bit taller. But and I always like this part of the body up here, the pectoral high torso region. They handle it properly now. It's like a gimbal. It goes around and around a point instead of just bending like this. Like some of those figures that have that little cut like that there, and the top of the half can be bent independently of the stomach. Yeah. So now I'm gonna have to match these colors, which shouldn't be too terribly hard. I've got pretty good already. Put a little red in there. This is a lot closer. This is actually the color, but I don't like this paint so much. I do have a little bit of paint thinner. I might just use it with that. Oh yeah, another figure to open, and then I'll let you guys go. But yes, you write to me at that email address about Motu in some fashion. Maybe you did something with your kid. Maybe you bought him a toy. Maybe you exposed your nephew to Motu like I did with my nephew. He had a good Christmas that year. He really did. The Christmas I got back into toy collecting, I had amassed, well, I already had some toys, but I seriously took it as an undertaking to try to start a store, which I don't have a toy store anymore. Okay, it lasted like a year and a half. And it was a fun thing to do, but yeah, you're not going to make an income selling Motu. You really aren't. You're just redistributing it and taking a loss probably. But it's fun. Opening up the boxes was fun. Getting toys in the mail is always fun. So, and talking about it, having a reason to talk about it is fun. It's a special interest of mine. Um, probably, probably autism, but I don't know. I dig it. I'm trying to see who else's head this little helmet will go on. Oh, nice. I just threw this guy together, right? This is a Triple H head, and that one snaps on. Because they're the WWE superstars and the masters of the WWE universe are really just Motu figures, and so their heads are mostly interchangeable. However, see, I got somebody here. Yeah, I'm thinking this is like Stevie Richards' head or something. Edge or somebody. I've repainted it since then, and I've cut on it too. Did some cutting right here and right here to give me a little more neck room because it was pressing hard. But his head does not completely go on the figure. See? It just barely sits on there. I had to apply a lot of pressure on it, and it'll seat itself, so it'll stay where you put it for the most part. But it's not a secure, not as secure as you think it is. So yeah, we do have a problem with this. I do not want to put glue in there unless it would be the type of glue that turns into a rubber gum. Like if I put the glue I've been putting on figures, no. If you have seen a video where I've told you to put this in a joint, well, I was wrong. After it sits long enough, it ceases to be this stretchy jelly sort of rubber when it dries. It becomes hard plastic like acrylic when it dries, but it takes a while. So, I'm sorry. If you use it on a joint and that joint is permanently locked, I'm sorry. You're probably not completely doomed. You can probably break it with minimal effort. And I don't mean break the toy, I mean break the seal created by this stuff. But you can see completely through that space on his nose. See that? See my skin through there? The space on his nose, and between his nose and the helmet. So I'm going to make it do it again. I showed you for a second. There you go. There's the space. There's the space. Pretty good. That's really good. I like that. I dig it. I really dig it. One more figure to open up and we'll let you go. So yeah, when you write in with your story, put in the subject line, Motu giveaway, inside the message, not in the subject line. Don't put your personal information in the subject line. Inside the message, put the name you'd want me to refer to you as, because we don't want to dox you, right? We want your handle, your gamer tag, whatever you're using on YouTube to be identified. This will happen on YouTube. Put that. Put your address so I can mail you the figure that you choose from my selection. The two winners, ones that have won my admiration and my respect for their writing skills, or just maybe the two that have the cutest stories, or the ones that make me laugh. I don't know what criteria really I'm going to be using. Maybe all of them, maybe some of them. It doesn't matter. I'm looking for a pleasant experience, okay? Those two, I read out loud. I mention your names. If you have a channel or something to plug, I'll do that too. Put your mailing address in your entry, please. And any other contact information you wish for me to have. Maybe we'll have a conversation. Maybe we'll become friends. Who knows? Who knows? We paint it, we stick it on. I'm going to research how to handle this. I would like your suggestions as well. before I go any further, in fact, I'm going to research how to secure these heads on satisfactorily. Then I'm going to determine which one of these goes over my Guardian Green the best, to see how that looks, to see how close I can get to this, right? After that, I will paint, because the one I do for myself is the test, right? To see how it'll come out using the logic that I'm going to use. And if I screw up, I show that to Kelly. Kelly can say, can you change something? And I can then change something without screwing it up and sending it to him all screwed up. Yeah, that's the end of it. So I appreciate all the attention that Motu gets. I do have fun doing these videos. It's very therapeutic, and all that. Oh, almost forgot. So let's open up my King Randor. Gotta have King Randor. You can't see any of that, can you? Oh, he's got one of those little pockets. Okay, so there's King Randor's packaging on your back. Okay, I'm trying to get this sword out, and it is in there like whack, whack. There it goes. Nice and meaty sword. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Notice any imagery there? That's not a cross. Okay, so now we have to push him out and over so that his cape will feed through the hole. Well. Lost his head, did we? Right. So why is King Randor? I gotta check the floor now. I think this King Randor was bald? Yeah. Yeah, he's bald. He's bald, all right. He's got that weight. You know it. He got that weight. Got that traditional, in every way, chess piece. If you wanted to, if you really wanted to, you could take the body of King Randor here, take the entire body, leave everything about it the same. This is cool. Leave everything about it the same. But we all know Randor has hair. Anyway, so now you have a bald guy. And now you have a body that you could put the head of Man of War on. And here's an approximation. You would have the Paragon, Paladin, Royal Guard. And watch. Masterverse body, Origins head. No snap. Oh, there it goes. So yeah. Imagine if you'd repainted this like I did. It's got everything you need. So you got the Paladin, and he can't bend his arm. Okay, there we go. I was going to say he can't bend it all the way, but really detailed. I like this. I like this. I like this. That's removable. Yep, it has pegs right there. So totally removable armor you can use for someone else. I mean, but dude, imagine having your own Paragon warrior. Your own Paragon fighter. let's see what's in that little compartment, shall we? I'm checking my fingers because of the handling I just had to give this thing. I'm trying to see if paint's coming off on my hands, and it's not, because I put clear coat. Put clear coat on there. I took the skull of the Keldor, Masterverse Keldor, and put it on this guy. I really like him. And I took the hood of Masterverse Keldor and put it on my Cult of Skeletor guy, and I colored it purple. This is my Cult of Skeletor, leader of the Skeletor cult. These people are obsessed with Skeletor because he helped them out one time when he was being nice. I am not nice. I don't like to feel good. I like to feel evil. Okay, so we're going to go into this compartment, and then I'm going to take a nap. Gonna take a nap. Because, you know, I didn't sleep last night. It's my birthday today. Yes, of 50 times around the sun. There's his hair. There's his hair with the crown. Randor, we know. And his scepter, which is extremely... I was going to say, and his scepter, which is extremely rigid. Rigid, fist up, bottom out. There goes the head. Let's listen for the snap. No snap, but this is his home body, and it's on there. Then we're gonna slide on. We're gonna slide on. Yeah, now that's my Randor. That's Randor right there. What do you mean, Adam? You're going to run away? Right when He-Man's about to be here? Oh, he's got this nice cape. Everything about this Randor figure is pretty sweet. And you can get them cheap right now. Like $18. And I don't know how. Just might be his elbow joint. That's what it was. His elbow joint had creatively snagged this piece of fabric, keeping the cape on his arm, which is pimpin'. So that's it for this video. You will have to write in and take your chance at winning one of these. Or one of these. Those are what's up for grabs. You can choose among them. You each get one. You get one. One figure each. And if there are some Origins or Masterverse that you would like to see opened, and I haven't done so already, just drop me a suggestion. Put in the subject line, suggestion, and suggest whatever it is you want to see opened and reviewed and or done. Maybe there's some parts you want to see interchanged that you don't have yourself, and I might have and can try. So that's that. I've had fun making this video. I've had almost as much fun as you've had watching it. So I'm going to go and rest my body. And I suggest you do the same. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to everyone around you, because they are also yourself. So there's only one person you need worry about, and that is yourself. So rest easy, my friends, and good journey for now. And remember, you, oh, over there, you over there. You, and you, and you, and everybody else in here have the power. You, me, everybody have the power. You know that? Everybody in this place have the power. So, goodbye. So, I'm just going to give you a quick update on the heads. Here are the heads. That's the one I get to keep. And that's one I'm sending. And this one is another one that I'm sending to my friend Kelly. I told him that I was not a professional painter, and it's very obvious. For some reason, the rough surface of these heads proved a challenge while painting on small details, and so they don't look great close up. However, these are going to be on a shelf, right? They're going to be on a shelf. So for that, they're all right. They are okay. Just don't zoom in too close when you take pictures of them. But this is what they look like. Here's a little look at the pearlescence, which took like 3 different colors of paint to achieve. And it's not 100%. See, I have a goldish cast to mine. This one has a bluish silver cast. I didn't have such a color. And you'll notice that these that I'm sending to Kelly, the purple is more of a plum, which is closer to the body, as close as I could get, mixing odd paints. The one I'm keeping, which was my prototype, it's more purple than plum, so it looked off. So I mixed up, some more paint. Put a little red in there. Yeah, so it was a purple I was mixing from a Bastard collection. Whenever you mix folk art paint or apple barrel paint with your Vallejo paint or your Army painters from Good Old Games Workshop, it's going to get lumpy really quick. It's going to get lumpy like oatmeal pretty quick. So even if you drop a drippily driddle drop of paint thinner, it will turn into mayonnaise on you real quick. Lumpy mayonnaise at that. So, okay. I'm going to remove the cause, but not the symptom. Anyway, a little reference there. His ankle is terrible, by the way. This is my Panthorman. I can't remember if I reviewed him in the last part 1 to this video, but Panthorman, I like him, but he's got a weak ankle. I have to really balance him carefully. So, all right. At this date, I'm going to do my giveaway. And you can tune in live. I'm going to figure out how to do that with OBS. And I'll be live on the first day of spring, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will give away 2 figures. And you get to choose from a pool of figures. That's way easier than just showing you pictures of all of them, right? You'll get to choose from a pool of figures, which include Dispara, Origins Dispara. That's my Origins Dispara with a sword I bought her, because she comes with 2 big fat swords. You'll get a choice between her or one of the Masterverse figures that I have. Sorry, I'm reaching for a box, and I'm doing it in such a way so that you can't see what I'm doing. Now I'm balancing that box. I have pieces of stuff everywhere. This is all I'm offering. You could choose this. New Eternia Tila, which is a good stand-in. Woo! Which is a good stand-in for the Masterverse Vintage Collection Tila. Got a Vintage Collection Zodak. You know who he is. I got a Vintage Collection Skeletor, which might appreciate in value being one of those really good characters. And I have a Vintage Collection Faker. One of those can be yours for 2 people. And all you got to do to get one is to write to me at... There's my finger again, sorry. I'm not used to doing it this way. Write to me at this address. There it is, you can see it. Let's look at Blue Falcon. Write to me at this address and tell me something you like about Motu, or a Motu related thing like a movie or a cartoon or a figure or something related to Motu. Did you meet a voice actor? Did you meet somebody who worked on the figures at Mattel? You know, something. And the more heartwarming or funny, the better. And I'm going to choose 2 stories that I like. Has nothing to do with your writing skill. It just has everything to do with the story you're telling, right? A lot of us can extrapolate from incomplete information. So, just pull from the heart. Tell me a little bit about your Motu journey, your Motu love, and send it to this address. Mention your nickname that you want me to call you by at the live, and put in your mailing address. Put all this into one email. I know a couple of you have sent me 3 separate emails, and I get it. I'm autistic too. I usually end up doing that kind of thing with texting, right? Every single thought gets its own separate text, and a lot of people don't like that. But try. I mean, I'm a small channel right now. I'm really small potatoes. So if you end up making errors and sending multiple entries, it's very likely that I'm not going to be overwhelmed with entries this time around, right? But sooner or later, it might get to be that way. But it's my goal to try to make a channel where I regularly give away toys. And, it's kind of hard to start a thing like that all by yourself without investment capital and things like that. I'm choosing things I like. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the work of Longfellow or Edgar Allan Poe to get, my attention. It can just be a story with good content, something interesting. But, so write me at this address, put in your email, your contact information, right? Your mailing address, your nickname that you want used. If it's your regular name, put your regular name. If you want me to give you the recognition for your writing skill. And I will mail to you one of the figures that you choose live. Don't choose it in the email. Wait until I choose your name if it's you. And then live, you get to choose from the pile of whatever's there. And if you get to go second, well, that's what happens when you go second. You'll have to choose from what's left after the first person chose. You get it. You know how this works. But it is the internet, and you must describe everything in full, or YouTube won't like you. So that's why I'm going into all that autistic detail. It just happens that I'm able to do that being autistic. So, yeah. I think that covers it. I'm looking forward to this channel catching fire, catching speed, call it momentum. As we do this, hopefully we'll get more and more viewers. Right now, it took me 2 years, but I finally reached over 50 subscribers. I got like 60 something the last time I checked, like a week ago. 60 something, which is something. I started with none. And through trading and talking about toys, I hope to make some friends. And so, yeah. If you got anything else that you'd like to talk about, send messages with that. I would value every single comment that you could give to any video. It doesn't matter. And don't even apply that to only my videos. Apply that to all the videos you look at. If a thought pops up in your head, go ahead. Go ahead and write it out. Write it out in the comment section. That's what it's for. It's for activity. It's for arguments. It's for debates. It's for both of you agreeing and loving something, right? It's for all of that. And whether you want to share or despair, it's there for you. And so I would value your interactions with each other, with myself. Let's talk about stuff, all right? Like, let's see, am I excited? There isn't a figure I can think of right now that I'm excited about, except for maybe the ones for the movie coming out in June. And Kmart leaked some, but there are other people talking about that. I don't have any of the leaked Kmart movie figures, so I'm just going to mention it, and that's it, right? I know it happened. But I don't scour the internet and get all these juicy drops as soon as they fall. You know, I don't even get to order from Mattel Creations, like, as often as I'd like, right? So, let's talk about stuff. Let's complain. Let's commiserate. Suffer together. Do you have customs that you've made? Maybe you can tell me about that. You know, it's always cool to have a cute, cool little backstory with each new custom that you create. So, show me what you got. Show the world what you got. You've got the power to do that. You've got the power to do all kinds of amazing things. And it seems like half of the world exists to convince you that you're helpless. Little I over here by yourself, scraping along, eking by. But that's not the case. I'm sorry, my arm is only so long. The arm is only so long. Here, this is the view you're used to. Right? You're used to this view. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to add as far as life coaching goes. Like I need to life coach anybody, right? Buying all the action figures that I buy. But we each, deal with our grief and our peccadillos in individual and unique ways sometimes. And sometimes they can all be categorized together. These are all things we could talk about in person during my first live on the first day of spring. Of course, it'll be at night, but 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So look up your time zones to make sure that you're, I'm sure the camera light is over here. I just noticed it. It's a tiny little green pixel. I'm looking at my face on the screen because, looking at my face on the screen, that doesn't make me, it feels rude, doesn't it? I'm going to look at the green dot now. And now I can't see what I look like and if I look stupid. But that's okay. I shouldn't care about that. You shouldn't care about it either. Right? Always look at the dot. Make your point. Communicate effectively. Don't worry about how it looks. Just say what's on your mind and be truthful and honest and confident. Okay? You have the power. That's going to be my mantra for the rest of my life, I think, is to tell people they have powers. You have the power to make someone's day right now. Why should I worry about making someone else's day? Because if everybody starts doing it and it catches on, then it'll be a better world to live in, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? It starts with tiny little things. Change one tiny thing today. Do it today. One thing. One little bitty, itsy bitsy thing. In fact, if you do this, go ahead and tell me in the comments section, of this video, what you did. You got until the live on the 20th. I think it's the 20th or 21st. I showed the date earlier, so Yeah, I'm not looking at the graphic that I'm going to put up right now, so I can't tell you the date exactly, but it's there, right? It's on that date. You got until then to either talk to me about Motu or talk about this other thing I just suggested. The nice thing you did for someone else. It could be for a creature too. It could be for an animal. It could be, for anything, something, right? It is time for everyone to come together. So concentrate only on things that bring people together, right? Division works against us all, no matter what side of whatever issue you think you're on. All the sides are manipulated from above against the middle to eliminate all three, the middle and both sides. Okay? That's the way it is. That's not what I want this channel to be about, but that's a little bit of a clue you need in which to see through the veil of thoughts, to pierce it, to see where your programming has come from. I mean, it's a whole world of stuff we can talk about. Some of us paint little pieces of plastic to calm down, right? To deal with their anxiety, to deal with their grief, to meditate. And I think that's grand. Whatever kind of art you have to do to meditate, the art therapy you give yourself. Even if you just play a little music and sing along, making the noises, making music, right? You could say birds and animals make music. It's a type of music, right? But humans, we make music, okay? And that is an ability that so far no other life form can do but us. So let everything that comes out of you be a type of music. Let it resonate sweetly, okay? Sweet vibrations. You know where they come from. You don't need a teacher to tell you this. And now I'm preaching. So I need sleep. That's what it is. Sun's coming up. This vampire needs to go to sleep. Evil sleeps in the daytime. So yeah, you be you. That's what you're here for. You're here to do the thing you're already doing. If you need encouragement, I'll just keep repeating it in as many different ways as it takes for it to take. Okay? If you're finding it hard to believe and hard to get into, argue with me in the comment section. I'll go at it with you. I'm not in a bad, malicious way. It'll be in a friendly way, but yeah. Okay? All it takes is exposure to the message, and over time you'll eventually get it. And the same is true for universes and human races and stuff like that there. Okay? All right. You've got the power to do something amazing right now. Okay? You might not think it's amazing, but the person you do it for will. And I'm sure your mind immediately can tell you one or two things along that line. Right? So do one of them today, if you can. Hold a door for a stranger. Smile more. If you go to Walmart, say hello to the door greeter. Say hello to them every time you see them, because you know that person's face. Don't treat them like they're just part of the furniture, right? Slow your roll down somewhat and enjoy your life, because you only get the one. Well, technically, you're only going to remember the one. But these little things, don't be cold. Don't let the world go cold, okay? Stop it. And the way to stop it is to do tiny little human things for other humans, okay? Try to do that. Feed a cat today. Give a homeless person $5. Donate some blood. Do something, right? When the door greeter says, "Have a good day" on your way out of the store, make sure that the next time you see him, you say it first. Something like that. That's all it takes. It's a little habit, and it'll snowball. You'll become addicted to doing that, right? It's like the opposite of pulling scabs. People do things like pick at themselves and stuff like that neurotically for dopamine seeking. Well, get your dopamine the other way, the way you're supposed to get it. Love your neighbor, okay? That's it. That's my only message. That's the only thing I've ever said. So, you have the power. And that is all for this transmission.